And we are back, still continuing with the conversation about women in football. And my question before we crossed over was the ROI for a coach that has helped, with the improvement and the growth of the player. I speak from a perspective via an agent, You represent these players at a young age, you get them into these clubs, but there's another bigger person, a bigger agent with a bigger portfolio who comes in and takes your baby that you've basically raised and takes them overseas, and then you have to sit and watch. So we call it an investment. And I like the fact that you mentioned that as long as they're doing well, that's my ROI. From a coach's perspective, what is the return on investment for all the hard work you've put in?
Firstly, I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm very passionate about it.
I like that.
I can't level anything in return. I'm just doing it because ke rata. So what I used to tell my boys from an early age, I am doing what I'm doing because I love it and I'm going to help you. I don't want anything in return. However, going forward, you need to be able to help somebody else because someone once helped you, So that's basically them making it. It's more than enough because now you're changing lives, you're changing the family backgrounds from just helping these kids make it professionally.
I love that so much. And I've seen in instances where when you have a relationship like that with the player, trust me, 10 years from that day, when they grow overseas or they go big and they're representing Africa and South Africa on a global stage, they'll never forget you.
Yeah.
I've seen players who mention the coach that coached them when they were still 9, 10 at a young age, because you've built that relationship. And it's not to say I'm grooming you, I'm helping you succeed so that you can come back and pay me, but it's so that you can do so well. And for me to see you do well, that's enough for me to know I've played my part. Just
it's to add a bit on that. Loko kasi kya tshaba ho ya di-tournament thing. Like, I don't attend your Phillies games, your Power Ricos. I don't attend them because
Queen of Phillies games.
Yeah, I don't attend them because you find hore ke tlo sheba game. Now you have over 50 boys coming. Lerato. Okay, at the end, ke feletsa ke sa level bolo because you understand. So because ke tshaba le matla batho, I'm always I'm like, hey.
And then they will come to you. Give another how. Yeah, they do it to say you have.
So add to what Lerato is saying, I mean, the tournaments are kokasi. Normally my son plays. So you'd be thinking, I'm going to go there, watch his match and go home. I mean, the Phillies game in December, that's when you are on holiday, go America, and you're like, I need to rest. But you get there, you realize almost every team has a child that is your child in soccer. So literally you end up spending the whole December tournamenting because after match, my son, match latelang, I have a son in the team. The next match, I have a son in the team.
So you're there for the whole day. And you touched on something very important. You are watching the next match and the next match because of support. You are giving the support to the player. Let's talk about the importance of support from our roles, whether you're an agent, you're a coach, you're a parent, you are a psychologist, the support that we need to offer and what it does to our kids, what it does to our sisters, especially in this particular space. And I talk about the well-being, the mental well-being of players a lot because that is a very big factor. You spoke on the fact that some players come from households where parents have a car but they don't take the player, there's already support lacking there. You come across players that are shrugging their shoulders, maybe because of things that are happening at home, and maybe they're not getting the support that they need. They have a bad game. They think it's the end of the world. Let's talk about the importance of actually instilling support in these players.
I've had the support from my family. When I told my mom that I wanted to study sports, at the time I didn't know which part of sports I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to be on the field. So, and then I decided, okay, let me do sports science and then I'll transition into being a football conditioning coach, of which I did that. I had the support. I remember when I was at Shumba because I started teaming and I'm a BE. They were playing in the ABC. So after they sold the team, I went to Shumba, which it was a GDL from under 13 to SAB. So I had to work 13, 15, 17, 19 and SAB. So I was working there. You won't believe I would be there from 6 in the morning and 8 in the evening. And I loved it, make no mistake. I loved being there. I had the support. My mom would always tell me, as long as you do what you love, you do not have any responsibility.
That's passion.
Just do what you love. Something will come up. And, I would always be there with the hope, one day something will come up. I am here because I want to be here. I'm not here because I have to pay bills or anything. I'm here because I really want to be here. So support structure is very, very important, because I don't believe I'd be here if next support yako family, Because at times you see your peers, and when are you still struggling, you're thinking, maybe I'm holding myself back by doing these things. But if you have the right support, they'll always encourage you. Like my mom used to tell me, Lerato, you will make it. Just be patient. Someone who 10 years and achieve so many things within that 10 years. You might actually work for 2 years and achieve everything within that 2 years. Just be patient and follow your dream. And I've been doing that ever since, So even with the kids that I used to work with, support structure like Mama, actually is very, very important. To a point where you find maybe go have you understand? So it was up to us as coaches, especially Coach Shumba, to go to the parents and explain to them, to say, because I remember I had this one kid on Atsuenya Kuntu. And then the mom called me and so I told the mom, I would prefer abeko footballing than not know guy,
Yes.
We would rather help academically as well, but the kid must be on the field, because I'm very strict. So I've
heard.
Yeah, so it was easy for the parent to agree, because and you won't believe now the boy is actually playing what Chiefs DDC right now, because the parent actually listened. Sometimes look at your farming, look at your seed. So sometimes all you need is just the support of your parent, to say, Lerato, so and so struggle academics are high, but how can we resolve this? It makes sense. Unlike saying focus on your school and leave, because we're not gifted the same.
Absolutely.
There's someone else who's more talented at football
than
and
academic.
I understand that. So you just need to know these kids and understand them.
And I mean, we absolutely appreciate it. When there's a support structure in any part of your life, it is a long way.
Yeah.
If I'm not getting it at home, I know I can call Coach Lerato aside and express myself. And the fact that you've also created a safe space for them to feel comfortable in talking to you and, getting that support for you goes a long way. Players have fallen off the ranks for many reasons, where there was no one there to catch them and give them the support that they need. So absolutely, the work that you are doing, continue seeding, and we'll see more players in higher ranks, even overseas and all of that. Mami, from your side, you are one person I personally know who's very supportive, and not just to your kids, to the entire football fraternity. You go all out. You don't care which team is playing. Whatever starting formation, whatever starting 11, in and out, you will ask a question, where is this player, and that kind of thing. But you give support to all these girls. I've seen your WhatsApp status. You will create an entire thread of an entire thread of 30 posts where you are supporting a specific individual. How important is that for the players that, don't have a mom like you who's very invested in sport, according to what you've experienced with the other kids that you support?
It's very important for their well-being, mental well-being. It's very important. If you are not supported, I think with every player, there's a point where you feel like I just can't go on because a lot is going on. Maybe I've been in the team, I'm not getting game time. I'm going through injuries. I cannot carry on like this. I really, really need to stop. But when you have a support system, someone that would say, you know what, continue, keep fighting, you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. You always just need that one person that will say, go on. I mean, there's a lot of discrimination, especially in the ladies' sphere. I mean, when my daughter started in high school, they told her she can't be in the school soccer team because she's a girl. And I had to take them on to say, listen, you will not do that to my daughter. If my daughter could play GDL Koshumba with boys, because it was before there was GDL for the girls, and that is a SAFA recognized league, you cannot now come and say my daughter can play soccer because she's a girl and you guys don't even have a girls team. And because she really wanted to play for the school. So that support from me made her to be in that team. And currently that fight actually helped because they are currently trying to develop a girls team in the school. So support goes a long way. They really need it. We must try and support them as much as we can. And it doesn't have to be just your kids. Every child that you see that they need help, if you are able to do so, by all means.
And the support extends to us going to the games. There's always a conversation about sponsors. Our sponsors are very big on ROI. I'm not about to invest money in something that's not going to bring me anything. If Meme doesn't recruit, if Lerato doesn't recruit supporters to come to the stadium, then sponsors are like, wabatong for 5 people. So the support needs to extend to cousins, the friends, the teachers, whoever to come to the game. And this leads to basically my last question of the segment, to ask about the growth in women's football. What do you ladies think needs to be done in order for us to reach another level of growth when it comes to women's football? There's a lot, I think, that still needs to be done. However, what you ladies feel is very important in terms of making sure that our girls are very well taken care of, to be able to have better access to the tools and resources that make them better players to represent us on a global stage. We've seen what Banyana has done, winning WAFCON, finishing in the group of 16 in FIFA World Cup for the very first time, But what, in your opinion, do you think needs to happen for us to really grow the space?
I think for now, we need to start at grassroots level. I think that's where we need to start. There are no proper facilities, especially for Banyana. We just need to start there, ensuring that we get corporate to be involved. Banaba, they have the love, they have the passion, they have the talent. Sometimes wana the soccer, and then because ana tsona for so long, it ends up I give up. I feel I'm not worth it. And it's not even just at that level, even in national teams. I mean, for example, there's a child that I know that made it to the team under 17. She was in that team. She didn't have soccer boots. And honestly, it's like Safa couldn't help, but she's at camp. Thanks to Coach Roda, who came through and said, Ethiopia.
Shout out Coach Roda.
Shout out Coach Roda. And they came back. She had picked up an injury. The mother is unemployed. She picked up an injury, Aliko Tempo. They came, they played the last match, go Lucas Muribe, and then everyone went home. She went home with the injury. I mean, the mother had to literally beg for chelete ya hunamela, hore amise to a public hospital. So it's little things like that. Like, what are we saying to these kids? Yes, you identify my child, you say, I don't represent a country, but hey, Halimo, how are you helping him with all the issues say analinzona? So yeah, we still have a lot of work to do, honestly.
And it's sad that in 2024 we are having these conversations where a child is not then, given the health care that they need, while doing the job.
And I would actually think because we are at national level, it's gonna be better. You understand? So yeah,
I think also considering how we perform the World Cup, and most of our players, they also have the 9 to 5. So imagine if you professionalize the league and then they are there full time, because if they could perform like that, but they're part time, what more? What more if Bali they're full time? You understand?
You're absolutely right.
So I think I think if you professionalize the league and then you get sponsors, I think it will go a long way, because at least then we can start being able to compete against the best in the world, not only in Africa, in the world.
I love that. And you hit it on the nail. We definitely need to get to that space where we professionalize the league, competitiveness in the league. Yeah. One team is ahead of the other by 1 point, and the next one is ahead above the other by 1 point. The team that's sitting at 16 is fighting relegation on a 1-point margin, not on a 7 points or 20 points margin. I absolutely love that. Ladies, you guys have, and I'm hoping that anyone who's watching this can really take this, and understand and get a little bit of knowledge and education within the women's space, because I think it's a myth to a lot of people who are not in the spaces that we are in. But we love your support. Continue being the super fan that you are. We love seeing you at the games and the stadiums. If there's 5 people that attend the game, you are one of the 5 people. Continue being a super mom to your kids and supporting them. And we want to see them, grow. Slay is also my baby, and, she speaks so well about the support that she gets from her mom. We appreciate the work. Lerato, continue doing what you're doing, and we love to have you in the women's space as well, to do what you're doing in the men's space as well. And I'm hoping that the growth for both of you ladies grows, and one day we're going to be on a bigger platform still talking to you ladies. Thank you so much for watching this amazing episode of Her Story, and I will catch you on the next episode.